What's up, guys? It is
Gershwin
here with the Sound Alchemist, and we are back at it again, answering your questions in another installment of For the Greater Wow. And this question is by
Daniel Scafie. Yeah. Good day, guys. Quick question. If the Imperium was to fall, what race or faction would most likely dominate the galaxy? That's a good question. My money, right off the bat, is Tyranids.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Well, because I think they're the biggest threat, and if you allow them to keep consuming, then they would win. But if you get rid of the Tyranids, a more sentient race, I would say, orcs.
Yeah, probably the orcs because they multiply so fast.
Yeah.
And they just like overwhelm. But it'd be a good fight between the Tyranids and the orcs to see who's gonna come out on top. And the winner of that is gonna be the best of the best.
Yeah, I have to say orcs for that. But that's what you would say.
Yeah, I'd say orcs. As much as I want to say Tau, it's the orcs.
Yeah, because Tau don't even have warp travel yet, or at least that great of warp travel. And then Eldar are dying, Necrons are dead, coming back.
They're coming back, but not yet.
So the only other powerhouse would be Chaos or orcs or Tyranids. But we said Tyranids are out.
Well, because like if the Imperium dies, then that's like a bunch of humans that aren't there to provide those corruption and the thoughts and the souls and all that for the gods. So I guess it would come down to numbers, and Tyranids and orcs are those with the most numbers.
We're the ones with the most. So let's start with the questions you guys left. Now remember, you guys could just comment down below and we'll answer questions next week. So please do that.
This one's by Mark Helbing II. He says, "Damn, how much pot do you guys have to smoke before making these videos?"
Not that much. You're gonna say huge amounts.
Yeah.
You're telling them our secrets.
Yeah, never mind. Forget the huge amounts.
Not that much.
Yeah.
The Jackal Lord. Favorite Warhammer 40K channel on Earth. Thank you. Now we gotta fight for the galaxy.
That's right.
Keep creating these cool vids, gentlemen. Oh, thank you, Jackal Lord.
You are now my lord.
Loken.
Have the Chaos Gods ever made an appearance in person? I don't think so.
No, because Chaos Gods don't really have an appearance. They're not physical in the way that we think it's physical. They make manifestations of themselves in order for humans like us to perceive them.
Right.
Gape Demand.
No, that's just a reply, wasn't it? Oh no.
It says, that was the best explanation I ever heard about curved space. Oh yeah.
That's about how the Tyranids use warp travel.
Easter Benny.
Machine spirit might be due to the excessive use of dead baby calculators in place of AI. Some soul or old habits might be retained. And was Mechanicus using the dead as computers when the Emperor was alive?
What was the question again? Was the Mechanicus using the dead as computers when the Emperor was alive? No. We had it, Or, no, the Great Crusade.
Right?
Yeah. So the Great Crusade. During the Great Crusade, there was a lot of STCs that were still being used. And what that is just a database of information, which one of our patrons informed us about. So it was knowledge from the dark age of technology that we were using. So it wasn't AI, but it was computer assisted.
Right. Almost.
Navigation.
Yeah. Almost.
And it was a lot better because it was a lot fresher in people's minds.
Mr. Theorist Fist. Don't want you guys to another anthem. Keep up the great work, guys. One love.
I think he meant they don't want you to or they don't want you guys to have another anthem. DJ Kelly.
Ah, gotcha.
Key to success. Daniel Pirolo. Hey guys, got a question for you. So I've been watching a lot of videos on DC and Marvel superheroes lately. If you could pick 3 matchups, which 3 fights would each of you want to see most or the most interesting? He said Batman versus Eisenhorn, Hulk versus Draka, Phoenix versus Magnus.
Let me see. I want to see Superman take on Korn. Because I feel like that'll just be like this crazy bloodbath.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Now, when you say superheroes, are you only talking Marvel and DC? Yeah, right?
Yeah, he said Marvel and DC. That's what he's been looking at.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to see Apocalypse. Or what's the DC?
Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid versus God School. Batman versus Sly Morrow.
Yeah. I want to see Robert Gilliman against Captain America.
That'd be cool. I
And
think
then-
Captain America will get slaughtered.
Yeah. And then the third one I want to see is Thor and the Hulk against all of the Tyranids.
All of them.
All of them.
I think my last one would be who's sneaky in the Warhammer 40? It's the orc sneaky guy.
Oh,
Wow, how could I forget his name?
Snicksrot?
Yeah, Snickrot. Snickrot versus Spider-Man. Yes. Yeah.
Spidey senses.
They're tingling. And then Daniel Scafey.
Good day, guys. Quick question. If the Imperium was to fall, what race or faction would dominate?
Oh, we already answered
Yeah,
that.
we answered
Well, it's the same guy.
Yeah. Check our other for the Greater Wall. We answered it there.
Christopher Amon. Oh, totally the Tyranids. They have destroyed everyone they've come across except the Necrons. Every victory against them has been by slim and bought with millions of lives, no matter who is fighting them. Yeah, Tyranids are OP in the lore.
Yeah, in the lore. Not so much on the tabletop. Dark Gray, or Drek Gray. Can the Blood Ravens defeat the Black Templars? If the Black Templars think they're traitors. Please, I want to know.
I don't know too much about the Blood Ravens. A lot of people talk about the Blood Ravens because they came out in the videos, but their lore...
As far as I know,
I don't know too much about
I think they're like a descendant from the Thousand Sons, or like a chapter from them.
Yeah, but in reality, they're just a copy of the Blood Angels,
Yeah.
and threw Raven Guard in there for some reason. But the Black Templars are freaking beasts. They don't go, or they don't abide to the
Codex.
Codex Astartes. So they have way more than 1,000 Space Marines.
And they're very against heretics. So
they're like impulse, or their horde mentality. What's that called? Like piety, right?
yeah, pious.
Pious. They're very pious. So they that fuels them. Alexander Vicious. Do Space Marines always walk around with their power armor? How do they use the bathroom? No, they don't always walk around with their power armor.
And I think they don't poop because their bodies literally use everything up.
If anything, they pee. They can just pee standing up.
We're sitting down. Whatever floats their boat.
Yeah. Lee Parker.
The question about the machine spirit getting corrupted. Where does this happen in the fluff? I've heard of the old AIs getting corrupted because of the use of biological materials, but never heard of it happening to the machine spirit.
It wasn't the machine spirit necessarily, because when you talk about the machine spirit, you're thinking about a god entity. So if we said that before, let me clarify. It's it was the before or during the Unification Wars, the something General of Mars, he was pretty chaotic, and then during the Horus Heresy, he was corrupt. The Fabricator General,
There you go. Yep.
was also corrupted by Chaos and Horus. So what I mean by the I don't mean the Omnissiah was corrupted. I mean the Mechanicus. Yeah.
If that makes sense. Big words, but very simple to understand.
The Tyro 86. We already answered this, but who would win in a war, the Imperium of Man or the Galactic Empire in Star Wars?
The Empire in Star Wars at their height.
Yes.
Yeah.
Austin Palmer, prison Pop-Tarts. That's gross.
That is nasty. Inquisitor Marcus. The Imperium's biggest threat is the damn chaos and heresy, and Xenos lovers too. Kill the mutant, burn the heretic, purge the Xeno, the Emperor protects.
Yes.
Yeah, basically meaning they're their own weakness.
Kalin Anastasov. Since the people of the Imperium worship the Emperor as a god, does that mean that he will somehow manifest in the warp? So the god is actually a psychic being, the strongest psychic human being in existence. So by people worshiping him, it doesn't mean that he, like a copy of him exists in the warp. It just means that himself is empowered in the warp.
That's right.
Next question.
William Adams Arbona. I don't know why, but it seems obvious to me that if Batman were to exist in a 40K universe, he would be an Inquisitor. His detective skills and combat ability would gain him notoriety immediately. His well-noted resistance to mind control in the DC universe would translate to adamantium will in the 40K universe. He would be first recruited as an acolyte by the first Inquisitor to come across him. From there, his experience and personal charisma would give him an accelerated route to becoming an Inquisitor himself. A radical Inquisitor concerned more with the citizens of the Imperium, but an Inquisitor nonetheless.
Yes.
So no power armor for you, Batman.
Constantine Schreiber. Could Sigmar be the second Primarch? It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really, really awesome. His symbol is a two-tailed comet. There are Stormcast Eternals, which look like fantasy-style space marine.
They really do.
Yeah. In the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy, the planets where anything happens are stuck in a warp storm, but they are part of the 40K universe. Yeah, a huge possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty cool to see them as like a legion, but like, I don't know, because a lot of questions would arise, and it can happen, but there's a lot of things that need to change.
Yes. Well, disappointment, or white disappointment.
What are some forgotten, neglected characters, events, or lore elements do you think should be brought back and revamped? First one that comes to mind, Wazdaka.
Yeah.
He was an orc that rode a bike onto a titan and killed it.
And he was on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire too. So that is one of the guys that I remember going up against Gersh day in and day out, and he would always be a threat. So if they could bring him back and maybe expand on his lore, that'd be pretty cool.
Give him a freaking model. That would be awesome. Also, events. I think it would be really cool for them to go up to the back and fluff up the War in Heaven. Find out more about the old ones. Also, the Men of Iron.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cool because the Men of Iron could be a faction all in itself, and the remnants of the Men of Iron would be really, really cool.
Yeah. If you want to know more about forgotten or retconned characters, we did a few lore on the Dark Eldar, and there's 3 characters there that have been removed entirely from the Codex. So if you want to learn about them, go watch our 40K videos on them.
Yes. Next question.
Adam Husari, what is the weirdest thing in modern 40K? Personally, for me, the thing that always was like, what the hell is that doing there? Or why is that there? Are those little babies that have cybernetic implants and wings and are always flying around Inquisitors.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Really?
Yeah, I don't know the lore behind that. But yeah, that's one really weird thing. I mean, mutants in the Hive cities, that's pretty weird to me.
The Hive cities in general are weird.
Yeah.
So why don't they just... Why Hive cities?
We're actually going to come out with a Necromunda 40 Facts. It's just a 2-part series. And it explains how crazy Hive cities are.
It just reminds me of the Hive from Resident Evil.
Yep, but 10 times worse because they're trying to escape it. There's no escape for them. For people in the Hive City, if you escape the Hive City, you die because of the waste.
Yeah, the atmosphere and the radiation and all that.
Mm-hmm. Next question comes from John Redcorn. Get it from the King of the Hill. Do you see any hope of the Imperium, and why does Dale Gribble keep on following me? Because you're cheating, or because his wife is cheating with you?
Yeah.
Stupid. Any hope for the Imperium? Hell yeah.
There's hope, but it's grim dark, so they're not gonna get it.
Well, because the Primarchs come back, if the Emperor
Comes back.
squirts something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like he said, there's a little shimmer of hope. Will it come to them? Who knows?
Quien sabe. Well, those were the questions for this week. Thank you for sending them our way. Please comment down below with more questions that you would like us to answer. And don't forget to visit our Patreon page. We're going to have an exclusive extra for the Greater War for you guys.
And as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic answers. And you know him as?
Gershwin.
I am the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and we are out of here.